Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Spotlight. My name is Kim Cafino, and I've worked with hundreds of teachers, coaches, and leaders in schools around the world to help them create thriving and sustainable instructional coaching programs. And I'm on a mission to help you coach better. Wherever you are in your coaching journey, we can support you. Come learn with me in one of our courses or private mentoring package designed specifically for instructional coaches. Join our global Coach Better community, ask any questions you'd like to hear us answer, and find all of our resources for instructional coaches on our website at coachbetter.tv. You can also find us on social media at Eduro Learning or in our Coach Better Facebook group, and you can subscribe to our channel here on YouTube to catch all of our latest videos. If you're not sure where to start, take our free quiz and get a tailored list of resources delivered straight to you and designed specifically for your level of coaching mastery. Find it at coachbetter.tv/quiz. Today's spotlight is another in our series of coaching case studies with one of my amazing clients, Melissa Carr, who at the time of recording was a grade 1 classroom teacher at St. Mary's International School in Japan. Melissa is a graduate of the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program, and when we recorded this episode, she had just finished the course. These case study episodes are designed to share the story of a coach and the development of their coaching program and practice in their unique setting. I'm excited to share this episode with Melissa with you because as a classroom teacher, Melissa brought coaching to life in her school community, and she did such an amazing job at this work that she ended up being hired as an instructional coach at her school for the following year. In this Spotlight episode, Melissa and I talk about how she started building a coaching culture at her school from her classroom teaching role. If you're looking for a similar episode about classroom teachers building in coaching, you might want to check out a previous one from this season with classroom teacher Ilana Yashinka. In this Spotlight episode, Melissa and I are talking about how she started building a coaching culture at her school from her classroom teaching role. In the full-length audio podcast, we also talk about how Melissa started her journey to instructional coaching, why she thinks coaching is right for her school right now, how her school leaders made the decision to implement a coaching program, the vision for the coaching program at her school, her aha moments in the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program, what successes she's already had with coaching as a classroom teacher, and what schools and teachers should consider when beginning an instructional coaching program. This episode is a fantastic example of all the ways that classroom teachers can advocate for the development of an instructional coaching program, and why classroom teachers should engage in coaching with their colleagues. If you're curious about building a coaching culture at your school as a classroom teacher, this episode is for you. Okay, let's jump into the conversation with Melissa. And I really appreciate that it takes a little while to kind of figure out what coaching is and how it might work. So as you kind of moved from curious about coaching to actually making the decision to start a program to help you learn how to coach, what was part of that decision-making process? Like, how did you decide, like, this is the right thing, I want to do this right now?
Well, I knew that I wanted to work more with my colleagues. I knew that I wanted to have a bigger impact than just outside of my classroom. Without really moving, I'm not really interested in moving into an admin role. And so I thought this would be, actually without knowing much about it, I thought this would be a great position to impact more than, like I said, more than just my own classroom. And so through the course, little by little, I learned more and more. And it also, at the same time, my school was becoming more interested. For a while, we've been talking for a few years, I would say we've been definitely interested, but didn't make any moves. And so while I was getting a little bit more serious about it, the school was also getting a little more serious about it and interested in potentially implementing a coaching program. And so in my individual learning journey, the school kind of also joined me on that a little bit. And we've been working together to get a program started. And we're really just in those beginning phases still.
Perfect. Okay. So tell me a little bit about, I really appreciate you hearing about you say wanting to work more with your colleagues, have a bigger impact outside of your classroom without moving into an admin role. I think that's super relatable. I think many people who move into a coaching position, that's exactly, they are passionate about developing learning opportunities for educators and for students, and they want to focus as much of their time as they can on supporting teachers in doing the work that they know is going to improve student learning, but they don't necessarily want to be in that admin role. So that is super relatable. And I also really appreciate that your school was kind of almost going on this journey with you, and maybe they had been like interested in it for quite a while, but then you actually going through the course, I'm assuming probably was able to push that conversation a little further. So tell us what's happening at school right now. I know you're working towards building a coaching program. How did all that get started, and what is actually happening?
Sure. So I started the course back. So the course I'm talking about is the Eduro Learning's Coaching Certificate and Mentorship Program. I started that in October. And about a month later, the leadership team at my school invited me to present what I had been learning so far, which was all really, really new. But I was able to talk to them a lot about the definition of coaching that I had learned. And then through reading your book chapter, I was able to share a lot about vision, even my new vision for what coaching could bring to a school. Beyond just student achievement, greater impacts that coaching could bring. And I think what worked really well is that the leadership team at my school was really open to just kind of listening and learning and having conversations about their previous experiences and what this definition of coaching looked like and how that might look at our school. Maybe challenging some ideas that they had. But really, they was just so open to listening and learning and using that to then start their own conversations into how that would look. And I wasn't part of those conversations behind the scenes. But a few months later, they posted a position and I applied. And now I will be the instructional coach at my school for the elementary school next year. And I'm currently, so exciting. I'm currently working together with my principal, and we are having conversations about our definition for the school, our shared vision for our coaching program. And we're actually using the systems and structures checklist that you've provided. So we're going through that step by step, and so that we can hopefully implement a sustainable program at our school. So next year we'll start working with teachers and working with the faculty in coaching.
Amazing. So I there's a couple things I want to pull out of this kind of part of the conversation. And one is, I don't know if it was just perfect timing, or if you are just the absolute right person, or your school is just right in that right place. But the combination of the school having had a little bit of interest over time, and then you being identified as a person who could kind of lead this conversation with your leadership team and kind of start them thinking about it a little bit different, has had such an amazing impact, because you had that conversation in October. They went away and did their own things, and you prompted their thinking, and they came back with deciding that they wanted to have this position, and you were able to apply and be offered the position. So in 1 year, you went from, I'm curious about this, I'm curious enough to take a course, to we actually have the position now for next academic year, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, the leadership team was really open and really excited when when we talked about making professional development stick um, in the context of our own school. That's really huge. That's something that they really held on to, but also valuing teachers' professional goals and creating a sense of belonging at the school. That really, really is something that they held on to. And after the presentation in November, they were just really excited. And everyone, every member of the team came back with like, Melissa, you got us so excited. Like, this is the most excited we've been in a while. So that felt good too.
I think that's a key, what you were just talking about now, about not just making professional development stick, but that creating a sense of belonging. And I think that is, you've mentioned that a couple of times in your reflections, and it's something actually that came up. I have this Coach Better Facebook group, and it came up in our chatting today on this Facebook group. And someone was talking about how thinking about coaching through that lens, as opposed to, I think, what sometimes often happens, and I'm curious if this is what your school leaders' previous thinking about coaching was, that when we're thinking about fixing teachers or making all teachers do things a certain way or creating little mini-me's, that is not going to foster that same sense of belonging as when you're thinking about having it be invitational, having it be non-evaluatory, having it be confidential, having those pieces where it really is the teacher being supported on their journey. And I wonder if that is like a mental switch that you were kind of able to help them flip or switch when you had that meeting with them in October. Was that a hot topic at that time?
Yeah, definitely. That was something that they were all really excited about, that potential. I think, any way you can lift teacher morale in a school is great. And so then, valuing their professional goals is, I think, huge and really exciting for me. And I think, it was also something that kind of switched for me. It was one of the things that my thinking changed, because I think that the way coaching might look in the United States might be a little bit different than it does in international schools. And so I would never feel comfortable being like the expert in the room. I definitely am always the first person to say that I have a lot to learn. So, but I would be someone who gets really excited about the thought of connecting teachers and helping teachers reflect and having conversations about learning and learning from each other. That makes me really excited. So that was definitely something that changed in my thinking as well.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Melissa. If this conversation resonated with you and you want to hear another story of a classroom teacher building a coaching culture in their school, please make sure to check out this episode from earlier in the season with Lana Yashinka. Today's conversation with Melissa was such a wonderful reflection of all of her work throughout the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program. As you can see from our conversation, she took her learning and put it into practice at so many levels during the course, in her own thinking, with individual coaching partners, and with her school leaders. It was such a wonderful experience to work so closely with Melissa because she consistently took action throughout the program. If this sounds like the kind of educator that you are, you would love the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program. I'm so proud of what Melissa has been able to accomplish in just 1 year. And as you listen, you might have noticed how impactful the Thrive model was in Melissa's work. This is the structure we use in all of our courses for instructional coaches. Having a framework to guide the development of your coaching program that is flexible enough to work in any school setting is essential. This is a real first-hand look at how the Thrive model can support both instructional coaches and aspiring coaches in developing a sustainable coaching program. All of our courses follow the Thrive model aligned to your level of instructional coaching experience. Melissa graduated from the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program. Each of our global cohorts are designed to support you in developing your coaching capacity based on your specific experience level, either as a brand new coach or an aspiring coach in getting started as an instructional coach, or as a current coach or an educator ready to pursue an instructional coaching role in the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program, or as a coach who's ready to lead in our course, Coaches as Leaders. Find all the details about our courses for coaches at coachbetter.tv/learn. Melissa was still in a classroom role when she took the Coach Certificate and Mentorship Program because she knew coaching was in her future. So if that sounds like you, the coach is likely the right next step for you. Global cohorts open once a year. Find all the details at coachbetter.tv/learn. If you're not sure which course is right for you, watch one of our free workshops for instructional coaches designed for your experience level, so you can take the next step in your learning right now and uncover which course is right for you next. Find it all at coachbetter.tv/learn. Wherever you are in your coaching journey, we can support you. If you're curious right now, if you have questions, please reach out. You can leave a comment here on this YouTube video or on the show notes at our website at coachbetter.tv. You can join our Coach Better Facebook group, or you can find us on social media at Eduro Learning and send me a DM. I'd love to support you on your coaching journey. See you next time.